Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're focusing on those of you out there getting ready for a Drawing Kiln Operator interview.
That's right, we're talking molten glass.
Precise machinery, and that awesome skill to transform it all into perfectly flat sheets of glass.
It's a pretty unique and fascinating career path.
Definitely fascinating.
Yeah.
Now for this deep dive, we're going to be using some resources from RoleCatcher.
We'll be looking at some sample interview questions, their career guides.
The whole works.
We'll tackle these questions head-on, give you some insider tips.
And sprinkle in some career insights to help you stand out from the crowd.
We're going to make sure you walk into that interview feeling confident and prepared.
All right, so let's jump right into it with this first question. Describe your experience operating a drawing kiln.
Ah, yes, the classic opener.
I know this one can feel a bit daunting.
Especially if you're newer to the field.
Exactly.
But honesty is key here.
For sure.
Even if you haven't worked specifically with drawing kilns, you probably have some transferable skills.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially if you've worked in similar types of roles.
Like what kind of roles are we talking about?
Well, think about things like tunnel kiln operator, auger press operator, even other furnace operation roles.
I see what you mean.
The important thing is to highlight your eagerness to learn and adapt.
Makes sense. So let's say you've worked as a tunnel kiln operator.
Okay, good example.
You could say something like, while my main experience has been with tunnel kilns, the core principles of temperature control, process monitoring, and equipment maintenance are all things I'm familiar with.
Perfect.
I'm a fast learner, and I'm excited to apply my skills to the world of drawing kilns.
Now that's how you showcase those transferable skills.
And your passion for the role.
Exactly. And be ready for follow-up questions.
Oh, good point.
They might ask about specific challenges you've faced with temperature consistency or the types of control systems you've worked with.
That's where RoleCatcher's AI can really help you out.
Absolutely.
You can input your experience, and their AI will analyze it, match your skills to the specific job requirements.
It's like having a personalized interview coach right there in your pocket.
All right, on to the next question. Can you explain the different types of ceramics that can be produced in a drawing kiln?
Ooh, this one's interesting.
That might seem tricky at first.
But it's actually a great opportunity to show off your knowledge.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, you see, drawing kilns are specifically designed for glass production, not ceramics.
Ah, I see where you're going with this.
It's a chance to demonstrate your attention to detail.
So instead of answering the question directly,
Right.
you could politely clarify with the interviewer something like, I understand drawing kilns are primarily used for continuous sheet glass production. Could you tell me more about the specific types of glass produced in this role?
Perfect. You're showcasing your understanding of the process.
And your willingness to learn.
It also lets the interviewer clarify their question and maybe even go into more specific aspects of the role.
So it's all about turning a potentially tricky question into a positive interaction. Okay, let's move on to a topic that's crucial in any manufacturing environment: safety.
Couldn't agree more.
Here's a common question. What safety precautions do you take when operating a drawing kiln?
This is where you really want to showcase that safety-first mindset.
Of course, but how do we go beyond just saying, I follow safety procedures?
You need to give specific examples.
Like what?
Well, think about the personal protective equipment you'd wear: heat-resistant clothing gloves, a face shield.
Right. Those are essential.
Talk about checking safety interlocks and emergency shutoff systems before starting the kiln.
Oh, and lockout, tagout procedures for maintenance.
Absolutely. You could say something like, before I do any maintenance on the kiln, I always follow lockout, tagout procedures.
This isolates the equipment and prevents any accidental startup. I also make sure to wear the appropriate PPE.
Including heat-resistant gloves, a face shield, and steel-toed boots.
Those details show you're serious about safety.
You're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk.
Exactly. And here's a pro tip.
I love pro tips.
After you've outlined your safety procedures, you can even ask the interviewer about their specific safety protocols.
That's a great way to turn the question around and show you're proactive.
Speaking of proactivity, let's move on to a question that tests your technical knowledge. How do you ensure that the temperature levels in the drawing kiln are consistent?
Now, this question goes beyond practical skills
It's about showing you understand how the kiln works.
and your attention to detail.
So it's not just about turning a knob and hoping for the best.
Definitely not. You need to show off your knowledge of temperature control systems, your ability to monitor those gauges and indicators.
And your understanding of all the factors that can affect temperature consistency.
Exactly. You could mention things like monitoring the fuel supply,
The air-to-fuel ratio.
the kiln's insulation.
And if you're familiar with specific control systems like PID controllers,
Now's the time to shine.
you could say something like, in my previous role, I was responsible for maintaining temperature consistency using a PID controller. I regularly calibrated the sensors, adjusted the control parameters, and kept a close eye on the system for any deviations.
That's the level of detail they're looking for.
I understand that precise temperature control is essential for producing high-quality glass sheets, and I'm confident in my ability to maintain those parameters.
See how that highlights your experience and your commitment to quality.
Absolutely. And I bet they might follow up with a question like, what are some of the challenges you've encountered in maintaining consistent temperature, and how did you overcome them?
Ah, yes, the behavioral question.
This is where having a few specific examples in mind can really help.
Think about a time when you had to troubleshoot a temperature fluctuation or adjust those control parameters.
And remember the STAR method.
Situation, task, action, result.
It's a great framework for structuring your response to these kinds of questions.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher can help you practice your answers and get feedback.
Oh yeah, you can even record yourself answering and get AI-powered analysis.
It's like having a personal coach in your pocket.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit and tackle everyone's favorite troubleshooting.
Everyone loves a good problem-solving challenge.
A common interview question is, how do you troubleshoot issues with the drawing kiln?
This is all about showing off those analytical skills.
And your ability to stay calm when things get tough.
Right. So what's the best approach?
Well, the STAR method is your friend here again.
Think of a time you faced a challenge with a kiln or maybe a similar piece of equipment.
And make sure the example is relevant to the Drawing Kiln Operator role.
Exactly. So if you've troubleshooted a temperature inconsistency in a tunnel kiln,
You can adapt that to a drawing kiln scenario.
the more specific you can be, the better.
So instead of saying, I checked the controls,
Describe exactly which controls you checked,
the readings you saw,
the steps you took to figure out the problem.
you could say, I noticed the temperature in the drawing zone was fluctuating. I first checked the thermocouple readings and made sure they were accurate.
Then I inspected the heating elements for any signs of damage or wear.
After ruling those out, I suspected there might be an issue with the control system.
I consulted the manufacturer's manual and found a potential problem with the PID loop tuning. I adjusted the parameters and the temperature stabilized.
Wow, that's a great example.
It shows you know your stuff.
And that you're not afraid to consult resources,
Plus, RoleCatcher has a huge database of sample interview questions.
including troubleshooting scenarios specifically for drawing kiln operators.
You can practice answering those and get that AI-powered feedback to really refine your responses.
All right, before we move on, I want to talk about another crucial aspect of this role, quality control.
Where your attention to detail really shines.
The interviewer might ask something like, how do you ensure that the glass sheets produced in the drawing kiln meet quality standards?
It's your chance to showcase your commitment to quality.
And your understanding of all the factors that can affect the glass.
Talk about the importance of monitoring the drawing process.
Inspecting those sheets for any imperfections.
And sticking to those strict quality control procedures.
That is specific.
Absolutely. You could say something like, I regularly inspect the glass sheets for any defects like bubbles, streaks, or variations in thickness.
I use a variety of tools, including calipers, micrometers, and visual inspection to make sure the glass meets the required specs.
And don't forget to mention documentation.
Oh, right. Meticulous record keeping is essential for quality control.
You could say, I maintain detailed records of all the production parameters, like temperature drawing speed and annealing time. These records help us track quality trends, identify potential issues, and ensure consistency.
Wow, that level of detail really shows you're invested in maintaining those high standards.
And it highlights your organizational skills, which are so important in any manufacturing role.
Okay, let's take a quick breather here.
We've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive.
From highlighting those transferable skills,
To tackling those tricky troubleshooting questions.
but we're just getting started. In the next part, we'll delve into even more advanced questions
We'll explore those nuances of behavioral interviews.
and show you how RoleCatcher can help you tailor your answers to impress even the toughest interviewer,
So stick around, grab a glass of water,
or maybe a beautifully crafted sheet of glass.
and get ready to dive even deeper into the world of drawing kiln operators.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of drawing kiln operators. We were just talking about those meticulous records you keep. And that leads perfectly into another common question you might get in an interview.
Oh yeah, what is it?
How do you maintain the drawing kiln to ensure optimal performance?
Okay, so it's all about preventative maintenance, right?
Exactly. You want to show that proactive mindset, think long term.
Not just fixing problems, but stopping them before they even happen.
It's like taking good care of your car. Regular maintenance prevents those big, costly breakdowns.
Makes sense. So how do we apply that to a drawing kiln?
Well, you got to know the key components, the heating elements, the refractory lining, the drawing rollers, those control systems.
They all need regular checkups, right?
Absolutely. So instead of saying something vague like, I inspect the kiln regularly, you want to be specific.
Give them the details.
You could say, I do weekly inspections of the refractory lining looking for cracks, spalling, or erosion. If I see any problems, I report them immediately and follow procedures for repair or replacement.
Wow, that's specific.
It shows you understand what preventative maintenance really means.
And that you're the kind of person who takes action to keep things running smoothly.
Right. It shows you're all about quality and efficiency. A well-maintained kiln makes better glass and saves the company money.
Now that's what I call a win-win. Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about a question that sometimes throws people off.
What kind of question?
Something like, how do you maintain accurate records of the glass sheets produced in the drawing kiln?
That one might seem simple, but it's your chance to shine a light on those organizational skills.
So it's not just about filling out paperwork to check a box.
Nope. Those records have a real purpose. They track production output, quality trends, help spot potential issues, and ensure traceability.
So if there's a problem with a batch of glass,
Those records can help you figure out exactly where it went wrong.
and stop it from happening again.
Exactly. So when you answer this question, you want to really emphasize the importance of those detailed records.
I like it.
You could say something like, I carefully record the production parameters for each batch of glass.
Things like the time and date, drawing speed, annealing, temperature, and any notes about observations or adjustments I made.
Those records are stored electronically and are easily accessible for quality control process improvement and traceability.
It's all about being organized and having that data ready when you need it.
And if you have a specific example of how your records help solve a problem or improve a process,
Share it. Real-world examples always make your answer stronger.
now are you ready for a more challenging question?
Bring it on.
Okay, here it is. Have you ever had to troubleshoot a complex issue with a drawing kiln or a similar piece of equipment? If so, how did you go about resolving it?
Okay, this one's a bit more in-depth.
It's your time to really show off those problem-solving skills.
My technical expertise.
Then how you think under pressure.
So should we stick with the STAR method here?
Absolutely. But this time, choose an example that really shows you going above and beyond.
What do you mean?
Like a time when you had to do some extra research, maybe collaborate with others or get creative to find that solution.
So let's say the kiln's having these random temperature swings, and the usual troubleshooting steps aren't helping.
Perfect example. You could say, I noticed these temperature fluctuations that were happening randomly, and I couldn't figure out why using the standard procedures.
I decided to dig deeper and do some research on online forums, consulted technical manuals, even reached out to the equipment manufacturer for advice.
Through all that research, I discovered that a vibration from a nearby machine was actually interfering with the kiln's temperature sensor.
We put in a vibration dampening solution and the temperature stabilized.
That's a great example of taking initiative, going the extra mile to solve a tough problem.
It shows you're not just following a checklist, you're a thinker, a problem solver.
Now let's finish this section up with a question about your commitment to staying current.
Okay. Something like, how do you stay up to date with the latest advancements in drawing kiln technology?
This is where you show off that passion for the field, your dedication to learning and growing.
How do we answer this effectively?
Be specific. Mention industry publications, you read conferences, you go to online courses, you've taken professional organizations you're a member of.
So you could say, I regularly read Glass Production Magazine and attend the annual Glass Tech trade show to stay informed about the latest trends in drawing kiln technology.
I'm also an active member of the American Ceramic Society, where I network with other professionals and take part in technical workshops.
Those are great examples, and if you've recently learned something new or exciting about drawing kiln technology, share it.
It shows you're genuinely interested in the field. And remember, RoleCatcher is a fantastic resource for staying up to date.
Right, their career guides have in-depth info on tons of industries and job roles, including all the latest trends and tech.
It's like having a constantly updated library of career knowledge right there on your phone.
I like the sound of that we've covered a lot in this section, but there's still more to come in the next part. We'll explore how RoleCatcher's AI features can help you tailor your answers to specific job roles.
We'll talk about practicing your delivery and how to boost your confidence for that big interview.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're back for the final part of our Drawing Kiln Operator interview, Deep Dive. We've covered a lot of ground already, but now I'm excited to talk about RoleCatcher and how it can help you absolutely ace that interview.
I think what's really cool about RoleCatcher is that it uses AI to personalize your prep.
Yeah.
It's like having a custom-tailored suit for your interview, highlighting all your strengths and experience.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So where do we even begin?
Their CV resume builder is a great place to start. You just put in your work history skills achievements, and their AI analyzes it all.
And matches it to the specific job requirements.
Right. It helps you showcase the skills and experience that are most relevant for that drawing kiln operator role.
So it's not just about listing your past jobs, it's about showing them what you can do.
Exactly. It helps you put your best foot forward and make sure your resume really stands out.
That's awesome. But I know RoleCatcher has even more to offer, right?
Yeah.
What about practicing those interview answers?
Their interview section is perfect for that. They have a huge database of practice questions, over 120,000 of them.
Wow, that's a lot.
And they're not just generic questions. They're categorized by career, industry, even specific job titles.
So I can find questions specifically for Drawing Kiln Operator.
Exactly. And here's the best part. They have this AI-powered feedback system.
What does it do?
It analyzes your answers and gives you personalized suggestions for improvement.
So it's like having an AI interview coach.
Pretty much you can practice your answers, get feedback on the content, your delivery, even your tone of voice.
That's amazing.
It helps you pinpoint those areas where you can really polish your responses and boost your confidence.
It sounds like you've got all the tools you need right there on your phone.
Exactly. And speaking of the bigger picture, RoleCatcher's Career Guide can actually help you map out your career path in this field.
So it's not just about getting the job. It's about planning your future.
Right. The Career Guide shows you the typical stages of a drawing kiln operator's career, from entry level to senior positions, even leadership roles.
That's so helpful.
It helps you see what skills and experience you need to move up, gives you a clear vision for your future.
I love that it's all about taking control of your career.
And remember all those related job titles we talked about? Tunnel kiln operator, auger press operator.
There's a whole world of possibilities out there.
Even if you don't get this particular job, you're learning about a whole field and opening up more doors for the future.
And RoleCatcher's resources can help you navigate it all.
They've got your back at every step of the way.
Wow, we've covered so much ground today. From the ins and outs of being a drawing kiln operator to mastering those interview skills and harnessing the power of AI with RoleCatcher.
It's been a great deep dive.
But remember, at the end of the day, your passion and dedication are what matters most. Let your enthusiasm shine through, show them you're eager to learn and grow, and you'll definitely make a great impression.
Go out there and ace that interview. You got this.
We believe in you, and if you ever need a refresher or want to explore more career options, you know where to find us.
Right here on the Depth Dive, and of course on RoleCatcher.
Your ultimate career companion. Thanks for joining us today.
We'll see you next time on the Deep Dive with another exciting topic, ready to help you unlock your full potential.
Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep shining.